The cardiovascular system is made up of the heart, blood and blood vessels. We're going to start by going through the structure of the heart. Your heart is approximately the same size as your balled fist, and it is located in your chest, slightly to the left, and is protected by your rib cage. Due to the amount of work your heart does and its ability to pump blood to everywhere in your body, it is arguably the strongest muscle in the body. When looking at a diagram of the heart, it is always shown as a mirror image of your body. For example, the left side in the diagram actually represents the right side of the heart. The colours shown also represent whether the blood is oxygenated or deoxygenated. This is dependent on whether the blood is coming into the heart from the body or away from the heart to the body. The heart is made up of 4 chambers, separated by the septum. There are 2 atria. These are simply known as the left atrium and the right atrium. The other 2 chambers are the ventricles. These provide the biggest contraction in order to eject blood from the heart via various blood vessels. There are 4 main vessels in the heart that work to transport blood towards or away from the body. There's the aorta, pulmonary vein, pulmonary artery, and vena cava. The vena cava is the main vein bringing deoxygenated blood back into the heart from the body. The pulmonary artery receives deoxygenated blood and takes it to the lungs. The pulmonary vein brings oxygenated blood from the lungs to the heart. The aorta carries the oxygenated blood to the body. There are 2 sets of valves within the heart. These are the semilunar valves, tricuspid and bicuspid valves. It is the job of the valves to prevent any blood flowing backwards through the cardiovascular system. One pump of the heart is referred to as the cardiac cycle and this can be broken down into 2 phases. First is systole. This is when the heart contracts to push the blood out of the heart. Second is diastole. This is when the heart is refilling with blood. So this is the point that the heart is relaxing in order to refill with blood. The video on the slide goes through the full cardiac cycle. Take a minute to watch the video and then continue with the rest of the slideshow. The diagram on your screen now, with the yellow arrows, represents the flow of blood through the heart. As you can see, it starts up with number 1 at the top with the deoxygenated blood entering the heart through the vena cava. The blood then flows through the right atrium to the right ventricle, and at that point it is taken through the pulmonary artery to the lungs to be oxygenated. Then from the lungs it comes back into the heart from the pulmonary vein, and then it is oxygenated, and that goes into the left atrium, which then takes it through into the left ventricle before the aorta takes the oxygenated blood out into the body to be used by the working muscles and organs. The primary function of the cardiovascular system is to transport oxygen, carbon dioxide and nutrients around the body. It also works to regulate body temperature and clot blood at open wounds. Oxygen is transported around the body to the vital organs to keep us alive, and then to the muscles. The more a muscle is working, the more oxygen they need, meaning that the heart has to work harder and beat more often. This means that when we are playing sport, our heart is working harder to keep up with our body's demands. Oxygen is vital for the production of energy for physical activity. We need to make sure enough oxygen is being taken in and then distributed by the heart to provide our bodies with the energy needed to complete the task. Transportation of carbon dioxide Carbon dioxide is a waste product and needs to be removed from the body. The cardiovascular system does this by blood carrying deoxygenated blood away from the muscles and back to the heart and lungs to be oxygenated. When we are playing sport, our energy expenditure increases, meaning our levels of carbon dioxide go up too. Our cardiovascular system needs to work harder to ensure all the waste products are got rid of from our body quickly so we can carry on working to our maximum. After the digestive system breaks down our food, blood absorbs the necessary nutrients, which are then carried around the body to perform specific duties. For example, we have protein for muscle repair and growth, calcium to strengthen our bones, vitamins to fight diseases and infections, carbohydrates to give us energy. All of these nutrients are important for maintaining a healthy body, which allows athletes to compete at a high level and be the best that they can be. Platelets are carried around in the blood, and these are used to clot wounds by gathering at the site of a wound and forming a plug to stop the bleeding. If we were to sustain an injury during sport that resulted in a graze or a cut, platelets would allow us to continue playing sport by stopping the bleeding. Another byproduct of energy is body heat. When we exercise, our body temperature increases and our cardiovascular system works to ensure that we do not overheat or suffer any illnesses related to body temperature. Similarly, if we are exercising outside and our body temperature drops due to the cold, the cardiovascular system works to bring our body temperature up to ensure our core temperature does not drop under what is healthy. This is controlled by our blood vessels dilating to allow more blood to pass through or constricting to reduce the blood flow. There are three main types of blood vessels in the body. Arteries, they carry blood away from the heart. You can remember this by A for away. They get wider, so they dilate, and thinner, or they constrict, depending on the need that the body has. So for example, during exercise, our heart rate increases and more blood needs to be pumped around the body. The arteries expand to allow for increased blood flow, and this helps to regulate blood pressure. The next blood vessel we have is veins. Veins carry blood towards the heart. You can remember this by the spelling V-E-I-N. So it ends in, you know that it's coming into the heart. As veins have a wider diameter, they allow blood to pass through more easily, and the valves help return the blood to the heart by preventing backflow. The final vessel that you need to know about is the capillaries. These distribute blood within the organs. The very thin capillary walls allow for gaseous exchange. This means that gases and nutrients can pass through the thin walls to get to and away from the muscles as necessary. The final thing we need to know about the cardiovascular system is the function of the blood cells. The plasma in our blood vessels allow for the transportation of blood cells and platelets. That just means it allows the freedom of movement around our body for the working cells to get to where they need to be. The red blood cells carry oxygen to the working muscles, and they also remove carbon dioxide from the working muscles as well. White blood cells help to fight infection and disease. So they're the ones that are important in keeping us healthy. And then you've got platelets. These are the ones that provide clotting on an open wound. So how they work is they prevent bleeding because they can stick together to perform a plug and prevent any further blood loss. And obviously this is quite important in contact sports as it allows the performer to keep on playing even if they have received a surface wound.